Oh, oof, that is cold out there, guys. Right, well, we thought we would give you a little insight into what our plans are for 2020. But before we do that, we're on a bit of a mission.
A mission to get curd.
To get curd. Well, maybe not actually, because it might not even be in stock. We came across this incredible curd in a National Trust shop back in England. We've had it a couple of times, and we just realised that we're running low. So we're going to head up to the Giant's Causeway just to get curd, if they have
It's
it.
a sour cherry one. If you come across it, it's amazing.
Have it on everything. And then someone else wants to get some
Pear drops.
pear drops. So
The
we're on a
best
bit.
ones ever at the Bushmills Garden Centre.
We're on a bit of a mission to get some bits and pieces for the van, because of course we're hoping to get away again, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, and it's also Storm Kira, and it's blowing again. Well, actually the wind has kind of died down now, but it is freezing cold. So
We did have snow earlier.
did have snow,
And we went running out.
we went for a run.
Yeah.
Yes, someone didn't enjoy it that much, but yeah, it was good. First up, curds.
So I've just spent £8 on pear drops. 3 bags of these, but they're amazing. Best pear drops in the world. Maybe not in the world, but the best ones I've come across.
Not a fan myself.
You don't want one then?
No, I actually don't like them. They taste like nail varnish. By the way, your hair is looking very buffoony.
Oh, is it? Look at the size of those though. Each one is like 2 regular pear drops. At least it'll shut me up for a while.
Right, pear drops down. Next up, curd. So that's a little bit dark and moody out there.
Very, yeah.
Thankfully here at the coast we don't get a lot of snow, so but actually up at some of the higher ground we can see that there's definitely been some snow falling. So we're actually just parked up at Dunseverick Castle. Well, what's left of it, as you can see. Dunseverick bricks and mortar standing or something, yeah.
It's actually a bit more interesting when you walk up to it
No,
than he's making it
It's
sound.
good to actually walk up. So we haven't yet quite made it to the Giant's Causeway to go grab, well, hopefully, some of the curd, but
I don't remember seeing it there though. I'm a bit concerned they might not have it. So
have
don't
to
know what
drive
we'll do.
500 miles to go get curd.
Join National Trust just to get curd.
Yes, exactly. Stranger things has happened. No, so we thought we'd give you a little bit of an insight into what our plans are for 2020. As is the case with us travelling with a 20-year-old cat who unfortunately isn't that well at the moment.
I'm very worried.
These plans could change in an instant. But yeah, Guinness isn't doing the best at the moment. She's kind of, we might have to take her to the vet the next couple of days, which is a little bit worrying. Starting next week, head down and to the south of Ireland and start doing the Wild Atlantic Way.
We've talked about it for ages and never got round to it, so we thought, what better time than right now?
Yeah. Now we have no idea how much of it will get done. We're not really putting any sort of plan together apart from go to the very south, so someone can get our lips around the Blarney Stone. So head down to the very southwest to where the Wild Atlantic Way starts and just start making our way north. Now we've got about 6 weeks, so we're not going to get it all done, not by a long shot. But as I say, we don't really have any plans sort of, rush through, so we're just going to take our time. We've started to sort of look at things to do along the Wild Atlantic Way, and even though I grew up in Northern Ireland, we never really visited sort of the south. So actually, apart from being up in Donegal, I've never done any of the west coast of Ireland. So looking forward to that. Now, what was quite funny, when we were at the travel show a couple of weeks back, we got talking to a couple of tour companies from down the west coast of Ireland, and they were like, so when are you thinking of doing it? And we were like, February and March. Silence. They were like,
I don't think there's going to be much open from the sound of it. Oh
my lord, look at this here.
Worse at that.
Probably can't make it out actually. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, there's not many campsites that are open all year. Not that we use them a lot, but it is useful now and again. Yeah.
And I think this is probably going to be the
And
part
this
of the
weather's
course.
probably good weather for the West Coast in winter.
Because that's what they were saying. So, well, you'll probably have it to yourself.
Yeah.
So 6 weeks on the Wild Atlantic Way, and if these winter storms carry on, then I think it certainly will be wild. Probably be back from the Wild Atlantic Way tour early April, and then we'll be back in Portrush for 2-3 weeks. Got a few bits and pieces to do. Nicola, you're heading over to...
I'm heading over for a friend's big birthday. I won't say how big.
Yeah.
She won't be pleased if I do.
And then when Nicola gets back from Cambridge, I'm actually heading off for a week bike packing with good buddy Alistair in Donegal, actually. That should be fun. And then when I come back from that, we're jumping straight in the van and we're heading back up to Scotland.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Now this is where things that far out do get a little bit tentative. You know, obviously if Guinness is still with us, one of the reasons why we want to kind of go back to Scotland, because we want to stay in the UK, because if she needed sort of veterinary treatment or anything, then we're in the UK. So our plans are for the first part of that Scotland trip, we're actually going to do a lot more of the islands, Arran, Jura, Islay, Egg, Rum. Basically all the little islands kind of dotted around there. And then talking about big birthdays. Denial,
yeah.
We're going to actually head across to Edinburgh, and Nicola's, a bunch of her friends are coming up to Edinburgh, and she's going to be celebrating her birthday in Edinburgh. We are probably going to do a little bit of a repeat of what we did last year. Again, having Guinness does mean that we are kind of UK bound, because she just wouldn't be well enough for us to sort of be long term out for a year in Europe, just in case something was to happen to her. We'd love to get across to Europe, but just not well enough to sort of take that risk. So we are going to be heading back up to Orkney and Shetland. You may say, well, hang on a minute, you did Shetland last year, but as I'm sure you picked up on our videos last year, we absolutely loved it there. And there's so much, more to see and do, not least trying to get you to
Trying
see...
to find those orcas.
Orcas, yeah.
That were a bit elusive.
For those couple of months, we're looking to spend 6 to 8 weeks actually up in Shetland and really take advantage of those long summerish days. And to be fair, we did get some
It wasn't bad.
quite good
Wasn't
weather.
bad. We're going to go via Orkney again, partly because of the ferry for Guinness.
Yeah.
And also we want to do the Bursay
Half
event
marathon
again,
again, or the
running event,
marathon.
so it was really
I
good.
might enter the marathon this year and hopefully won't injure myself this time. But yeah, so Orkney, Shetland, and then we're not really planning anything after that, because again, we know we are living on borrowed time with Guinness. She is coming 20 this May, and we just can't see her lasting. Now, we've said this pretty much every year, but I think unfortunately this is the year that maybe things are going to start going downhill, and so we're not really planning anything beyond that. Bit of west coast of Ireland, looking forward to that. Back home for a few weeks, over to Scotland, do a few more of the islands.
Which would be good, because you've run around Arran, but
Yeah.
apart from that we haven't done
Yeah, myself
so.
and Alistair, the guy I'm going backpacking with, we were training for an ultra marathon several years ago. In fact, I think the video's out there on YouTube somewhere, I'll link it. And we decided to run around Arran on what turned out to be the hottest place
It's about
in the UK.
35
It was crazy.
degrees.
But yeah, so we're going to go back and visit Arran. Arran's beautiful. So that's really our plans. But one of the things that we sort of have tried to do, now we're not hugely into New Year's resolutions and things like that, but we thought it would be good to have a little bit of a list of things that we'd like to kind of accomplish in 2020. I'm going to hand it over to Nicola, because she's got a little list already prepared.
Mine's much shorter than Nigel, partly because I'm quite lazy. So mine are 20 running events. Should be fairly easy, because that could be part run or organised running events. 20 hill climbs. Now that could be a Munro, a Corbett, Graham, is it? Is it Graham? Yeah. Or anything really, just 20 hill climbs. And Albert. Walk, run 20 miles per week. Should be easy enough if I keep my running up. Try 20 new recipes, which is actually probably the toughest one for me, because I don't like cooking. And say yes to 20 things to do, or try 20 new foods or things. So that's quite vague, but I've already said yes to go to see Mamma Mia party night, which wouldn't normally be my thing. So I've already ticked off number 1.
I would like to run 1,000 miles. Now, I'm actually on a bit of a streak. It's the 10th of February today, and I've been running every day actually, mostly 3 miles. Obviously, I'd like to sort of add some miles onto that there, but yeah, my goal is to run 1,000 miles, which works out about 85 miles a month. I would like to do a marathon. I haven't done any long distance running in a heck of a long time, so it may be the Bursay Marathon, or it may even be the Glencoe Marathon. Again, we can't really book things that too far in advance, again because of the whole Guinness situation. I would like to walk another long distance walking path. I'll put the link up to my West Highland Way walk that I did, which was fantastic. I absolutely loved it, and I'd like to do another long distance walking path. Now, how we fit that in with being in the van, I'm not too sure, but I'd like to do another long distance walking path. One option for me would be the Mourne Way, although that is only 30 miles or so. But yeah, a long distance walking path. Goodness me, it's proper sleeping out there. I'd also like to learn at least 10 new things this year, 10 new skills. Now that may be something as simple to some.
I wonder if one of those skills could be how not to annoy me.
Anyway, yes, I'd like to learn 10 new skills in 2020. Now, some of those might be related to photography, some of those might be related to, one of the things I'd really like to get very good at is map reading, navigation. So yeah, 10 new things in 2020. And so I think that's us,
Still chuckling in my little... Sorry, go on.
I think that's our plan. As I say, all this could change in an instant if the worst was to happen and we was to unfortunately lose Guinness. But for now, this will be our plan. 6-7 weeks down the west coast of Ireland, back home, over to Scotland, up to Shetland. Lots of things to try and do and complete in 2020. Or failing that, head to Europe and get lost in Europe before we're not allowed back in again. Bloody Brexit. Once again, thanks for tuning in. We're off to try to find some curd and try not to get blown off, although that latest front seems to have now moved through. And this has been a good reminder of how the conditions are going to be on the west coast of Ireland. So hopefully we'll start to publish our videos again on Sundays, just as we take you along the wild Atlantic way. I'm off to
hone your new skills.
See you later, guys. That's not going to work.